are about to get extreme. Daddy's home. Your favorite marvelous mutants are back.
It'll be just like old times.
10 all-new episodes, only on Disney Plus, that will knock you out. Take his visor before he starts up again.
No, don't! I surrender!
Not. Don't miss the all-new X-Men 97.
We have to stay vigilant. The professor entrusted us with his dream.
No matter how dark it is, we must believe in each other.
We get this done by working together as a team.
Jeez, bub. Keep buzzing in my ear.
Heads up!
To me, my X-Men. Magneto.
The last will and testament of Charles Xavier. Everything he built now belongs to me.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Marvel released a brand new X-Men 97 trailer in a very classic kind of 4:3 aspect ratio, as if it were a Saturday morning cartoon still. Because for a lot of its run, it actually aired as a Saturday morning cartoon. So there's a bunch of new footage and Easter eggs, so break it all down. I'll be doing videos for all the episodes, so if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get them all.
Get your special sock out, nerds. It's gonna get good.
If you didn't actually watch the original show when it was airing brand new on TV, when it started in 1992, it started as part of the Fox Kids programming block of shows with like Spider-Man the Animated Series, because that was produced by the same people that made X-Men the Animated Series, even though it started a couple years later. But they actually started their life airing as part of the Fox Kids programming block of shows at 7 p.m. on weeknights. I think it was like a weeknight show. But later in its run, they moved the brand new episodes to air on Saturday mornings, and it became a traditional Saturday morning cartoon. There are a lot of things we can say about the downfall of Saturday morning cartoons. Mostly the reason why they got rid of that was because of the new laws that were passed in the United States about the way people like companies, brands are allowed to market toys and things generally to children. There are a ton of laws about it. YouTube just got in big trouble. A bunch of social media platforms in general just got in trouble for stuff like that. But back in the day when Saturday morning cartoons were still a very regular thing, they were used as sort of like glorifying ad space for people selling things to children. If you've ever watched the Rick and Morty episodes with like Justin Roiland in the background screaming, buy this right now, basically just screaming at you to buy their merchandise, that's kind of the vibe of what Saturday morning cartoons were like.
The Citadel of Rick's Story Train.
Story train.
Buy it ironically. Buy it sincerely. Just buy it. www.story-train.com. On the internet. It's there. Buy it. Buy the train. We want you to buy the train.
Probably the best example of someone doing something like that in present day would be like a YouTuber, for instance, releasing a video that's just a glorified commercial or an ad for their merchandise. But part of the reason why they released this promo in the 4:3 aspect ratio is because shows at that time, back in the 90s, aired on 4:3 TVs, like this is a CRT TV. This whole living room vibe is meant to be as if you're watching the show back during the 90s. They got the classic VHS tapes of recordings of the original episodes on top of the TV. Because if you didn't ever use VHS tapes or you were born after DVD took off, back in the day, there was no real DVR or online streaming where you could rewind stuff or watch stuff on demand whenever you felt like it. So the only way to actually rewatch shows and movies was if a TV station actually aired them physically again in their lineup later in the week, or if you recorded them using a VCR on VHS tapes, and those were actually super expensive back in the 90s. They were about on par with the cost of like 4K Blu-rays. So the idea with the beginning of the promo here, like the intro, is that a person in real life was meant to have recorded these X-Men episodes. These 3 were all real-life episode arcs from the original series. There was the Christmas special here, which it says on the tape. The one for the original X-Men cartoon was just the original X-Men the Animated Series regular episodes, and the other one with the really small print is for X-Men DOFP Days of Future Past, which was an arc of the original animated series. And because we're talking about all these classic VHS tapes here, somebody also made a promo for Spider-Man, the animated series during the 90s, as if it were Spider-Man 97, like the next series that Marvel brought back from the 90s. There are a couple Easter eggs for that version of Spider-Man during this trailer, so I'll point them out later in the video. Like they're doing Spider-Man stuff inside the X-Men 97 episodes. This real-life version of the animated picture of Cyclops and Jean Grey is actually Wolverine's picture. It comes from the meme that everyone's posting. It's from the episode where he's remembering Jean Grey. They even made a real-life toy based on the meme that you can buy. This is actually a real-life Uncanny X-Men Colossus toy that they sold when the original episodes were actually airing back in the 90s. It's even got the original price tag sticker on it too. Just think about how much inflation has driven up the price of this, but this is also a collector's item now because it's back from the 90s, so it's way more expensive if you actually tried to buy this. Marvel actually did start selling a bunch of real-life merchandise based on the X-Men 97 stuff, so it's like newer versions, but it looks like classic X-Men the Animated Series stuff. I even bought the Magneto helmet, like it's a life-size Magneto helmet that you can actually wear. There's a couple new scenes they released here, like there's new footage of the X-Men fighting the Friends of Humanity gang members. There's a new scene of Wolverine joking that Daddy's home. There's a new Jubilee scene saying it'll be just like old times, meant to be very tongue-in-cheek because of the whole vibe of this promo. Like, hey, it's going to be classic member berries. We're doing this just like X-Men the Animated Series, as if it were like the next season. Because that's kind of the vibe, like it's meant to be season 6, essentially, of X-Men the Animated Series, just with like a new patina, like new 3D animation. During this scene, she seems like she's on some kind of space station. The Sentinel here is actually Master Mold, who seems like he's part of the Danger Room scenario that they're fighting in here. Like this scene when all of the X-Men are fighting together with the Sentinels and the rubble around them seems like it's happening inside the Danger Room. This person that Cyclops is saving from the new Sentinel's arm that's getting ready to fire off here is Roberto da Costa Sunspot. He's going to become one of the new team members this season. These Friends of Humanity try to take Cyclops' visor and they play it for a gag on his powers, which they also use at the beginning of the original series episodes when Rogue accidentally took Cyclops' powers and she didn't know how to control his eye blast.
Don't worry, I won't tell Jean. I just hope...
They released all the episode titles too, but the promo they released for the episode announcement is based as if it were an original TV guide physical copy that you used to read. They've even got a classic TV remote next to it too. Some people have also asked if the address that's on this is the actual X-Mansion address, and the answer is yes. They work in some Disney Plus jokes here, like instead of the TV Guide logo, it's the Disney Plus logo. But if you didn't read TV Guide back in the day, TV Guide was like a physical magazine that people used to get delivered that would have programming information, because at the time there wasn't a lot of that happening online. Nowadays, like you turn on the streamer and like you just pick the TV show that you want to watch. But back in the day, this was meant for classic cable programming where like all the show's airing times were predetermined months and months in advance. Nowadays, if you want to find out what time something is airing or like what day it's airing, you just check online like what time does this air? But all the titles here are meant to be the titles of the different episodes. It'll be a 2-episode premiere, and then after that, it'll be 1 episode per week, so it's 10 episodes total. The first episode is titled To Me, My X-Men and Mutant Liberation Begins. It's meant to show you what's happened in the small time jump since the end of X-Men the Animated Series Season 5. There'll be like a little time jump. There was a real-life comic book that they released that's meant to bridge the gap and show you what happens in that time jump. But part of the idea is that at the end of Season 5, Landra took Professor X to the Shi'ar Empire to try and use their technology to heal them, so all of the X-Men are sort of left at the X-Mansion trying to pick up the pieces and continue being a team without him. So essentially that's what's happening when Episode 1 begins. Cyclops actually says the line during the trailer, To Me, My X-Men.
To me, my X-Men.
If you didn't read the classic X-Men comics, that's one of Professor X's very classic lines, but it's been repeated many, many times by many different characters since then over the years. Episode 3, Fired Made Flesh, is probably about Roberto da Costa Sunspot. Motendo is actually a play on Nintendo. It's meant to be an episode that I think plays on Mojo World. Supposedly during that, Jubilee gets trapped inside a reality that's made to look kind of like a Nintendo game. Some of these titles are a little vague, not sure about Bright Eyes, that might be a Cyclops episode. Tolerance is Extinction is also a line from Friends of Humanity, so I think they're meant to be big antagonists this season, but the real main villain of the season is meant to be Mr. Sinister. They started to get into Mr. Sinister arcs in the last couple of seasons of X-Men the Animated Series. The whole idea is that he's obsessed with the bloodline of Cyclops and Jean Grey, expecting some kind of super Omega level mutant to come from them, but we know that Cable and eventually Hope come from them. But also I believe that Madeline Pryor, who was created by Mr. Sinister, is supposed to appear during Season 1. If you've not read the X-Men comics, you're not familiar with those story arcs, you are not ready for Madeline Pryor. She's like another evil clone of Jean Grey, so it's going to be nuts. Because we see Jean Grey pregnant during the trailer, that could be a version of Cable, but here's the thing, in the comics at least, Madeline Pryor was the one who was actually pretending to be Jean Grey who gave birth to Cable, so really it's all part of Mr. Sinister's long-term plan. My early guess right now is that she'll just be pregnant through most of the season, then they'll do some big teaser at the end where they reveal that it's Madeline Pryor instead, and do some kind of Goblin Queen teaser for Season 2, because they're already working on X-Men 97 Season 2 right now. For those of you asking about other characters, I already talked about Spider-Man because they have the Easter egg on the newspaper of him and Eddie Brock, so it seems like they're existing inside the events of Season 1. I don't know how much they're going to use those characters. But also, if you remember, Deadpool was canon to X-Men the Animated Series. They could have some Easter eggs for him because so much is happening with Deadpool and Wolverine right now in the MCU. And also, Ghost Rider was canon to the original series, meaning that Marvel can also have a Ghost Rider cameo at some point during all these episodes. There's a bunch of big stuff coming up. While these episodes are airing, we're also going to be getting brand new episodes of Invincible Season 2, but there's only like 4 episodes of Invincible, so it'll be done pretty quickly. Of course, I will do videos for everything, and we have a brand new Deadpool and Wolverine trailer that'll probably release in the next couple of weeks too. Just expect a lot of X-Men related stuff to be happening for the next couple of months until Deadpool and Wolverine comes out. Everybody click here for all my Deadpool and Wolverine videos, and click here for that brand new Fantastic Four teaser. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.